BrintonWoodall.
You're listening to the Bill and Joe Show. Whatever.
And welcome back to the Bill and Joe Show. I hope your weekend was as brilliant as mine. If it was not, I promise you that there will be a nice weekend in your future. I promise. I swear to God. So yeah. This Sunday, I had to work. Super Bowl Sunday. Now, for those of you that don't know, I work at a restaurant. It's typically everything is dead on Super Bowl Sunday. As I was driving to work, I looked at gas stations, fast food restaurants, Toys R Us, like all these different businesses, and nobody. Empty parking lot. So we were busy, I guess, for like 45 minutes. There was a little spike, but that was before the game even started. And then after that, it was just like. So I had to work Super Bowl Sunday, and I got off work early. Imagine that. Enough time. Well, actually, a coworker asked me to drive him home. Apparently, people that work in the restaurant business don't typically have cars. I don't know. But yeah, so of course, yeah. I mean, dude, you're cool. Yeah, of course I'll give you a ride. I've heard horror stories about almost everybody else in this place about giving a ride to, except for you. So yes, I'll give you a ride. He's like, I'll give you $5. I was like, don't worry about it. So I get off work before this guy, so I end up sitting out in my car for like the third quarter of the Super Bowl and waiting on this guy to get off work, and he finally does, and I drive him home. And I'm driving back to my place, and I don't have cable yet, so I can't come home. I text a couple of friends, like, what are you doing? This one was doing this, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And then this one was like, no, man, I'm staying in. And this one was, nah. I was like, okay, so I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I have to go to my favorite bar. I go to the bar to watch Cam Newton face off against Peyton Manning for the final 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. Have myself a Jaeger bomb, a beer. I'm sitting next to this guy who is straight up hitting on this girl, like, and she's like totally placating it. But some of his advances go unheeded or unnoticed. Or I'm sure she noticed, but she just blew right through that stop sign. Like, he was like, yeah, gotta get up at 4 tomorrow. She's like, I don't have to work till 8. And he's like, yeah, get up early so I can go work out. I'm like tofu. And it was just really awkward. Like, just, I'm not trying to eavesdrop on them, but they're talking so fucking loud when they don't need to be. And I'm trying to watch the game, and the TV is positioned in a way that I have to lean to my left, which is where they were. And I'm listening to this whole conversation of a guy. Imagine picking a girl up at a bar. Good Lord. Good fucking Lord. Like, I mean, that has to stop at some point, right? You don't get to just pick girls up at a bar. Like, what do you guys get to know about each other in the 15, 20 minutes that you have together? Like, if it's anything like this conversation, which I'm sure she did go home with him, but man, I don't want to be part of that world, which scares me even more that my daughter's growing up in that world. Like, he actually asked for her Facebook and Snapchat. Like, what's your Snapchat? Like, is that the dating world? Snapchat and Facebook? Let me add you as a friend. Let me follow you. Let me follow. I never liked that word. I've never liked that whole thing. Like, at least with Facebook, you can like something. You can like it. Thumbs up. I like this. Whatever it is, I like it. Twitter, as soon as Twitter came out and they started having followers, seemed a little David Koresh for me. I don't like that word. Like, I follow you. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's a bad word, in my opinion. But either way, I digress. Cam Newton is brand new. He is the age of football today. He is what football is today. And the only reason I say that is I was sitting at the bar and there was an old couple. Like old, like I don't mean old, like I'm not trying to call anybody old, but they were older than me. And they were like, I don't know, 45, 50, healthy, eating, hanging out, having a good time. That's great. They were a married couple. They were happy. They seemed happy. Until Cam Newton came up in the bar conversation. You're watching the goddamn game. Cam Newton is right there. What are you talking about? Oh, I hope he loses. I hope he loses. He's so full of himself. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I will not pay attention. I will not buy a goddamn blah, blah, blah. And her boyfriend, husband, adulterer, whatever he was like, yeah, right. I'm like, I'm going to stay out of this fucking train wreck. And I just mind my own business for a little bit. And the bartender is a good friend of mine, and he goes up and he's like, no, I don't hate Cam. I think Cam's pretty cool. And like, every sentence she said was, it started with, and she just hated him for no reason. Just hate him because he celebrates in the end zone. Because he dances. Now, I am a Tom Brady fanatic. This guy cuts his salary in half to keep personnel on staff. Oh yeah, I said that to her, and she's like, I don't like Tom Brady. He's a cheater. I'm like, what are you even fucking talking about? A federal fucking judge said that he wasn't. So who the fuck is you to tell me that he's a cheater when a federal judge said that he wasn't? So you, I don't, and she just kept going on and on about Cam. And I was like, you know what? I didn't like Cam. I never have. I don't like Cam. And I would like to. I do now, but I didn't. But I always knew that I wanted to like him. I needed him to give me a reason to like him, because he would do like showboat shit while his team was 3-14. 13. Sorry, haters. But like, I didn't like him then, and I brought this up to, I brought that up to her. I was like, Well, I mean, you also got to consider the fact that Cam Newton also got in a very terrible car wreck that he should not have survived. And once he did, that's when this whole dancing, having fun, giving the football to a kid, that's when that started. That didn't happen when he won the Heisman and came out of college and got drafted #1. And no, there was none of that. There was a bunch of towel hanging and just pouty face. And I didn't like that Cam Newton. This new Cam Newton, how can you blame him for having fun with his life after he dodges like the most extreme bullet that you could possibly? It rolled like 8 times before it came to a stop. He was on an interstate. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't know that happened. I was like, oh my God, no, yeah, I bet you didn't. And dude chimed in, oh yeah, that happened. He still wears the hospital bracelet. I was like, yeah, he fucking does. So why don't you guys back up? Like, just leave him alone for a second. Like, why do you care? Like, he dances in an end zone and you guys hate him for that? Seriously? So I am watching the football game, and there are like some 3 white dudes, of course. No Bronco wearing jerseys, no jackets, no nothing. No, they have no affiliation with Denver whatsoever. I mean, unless they just flew in from Denver into Peoria. I don't know. Maybe they did, but they're just cheering every time that Cam Newton does something wrong or did something wrong, and he did, and so did Peyton. It's a racial thing, and it took Super Bowl 50 for me to realize how alive and well racism is. People were rooting for Cam to fail because he's black. People wanted Peyton to win the Super Bowl. Even the fucking refs did. I mean, this is not even like socially or racially or anything. From what I saw, and again, I only saw 8 minutes of the game. From what I saw, Commissioner Goodell said to the refs, guys, we got to let Peyton have this. It was the most disgusting display of refereeing I've ever seen in an 8-minute span. I can tell you that much. And I've been a part of Deflategate. I have been a part of a lot of The Catch. It was unfortunate. And it is unfortunate that we live in an era in 2016 where the color of the skin of the quarterback. If Cam Newton's name was Steve Newton, everybody would have been rooting for him. If he's white, yeah, he's done amazing things this year. 15-1. It's disgusting. And y'all got to get your head straight. I'm sick of it. And that was the cap on my beautiful weekend, was watching people hate on somebody because of the color of their skin. And that's not cool with me. So I left. I came home, worked on my video game, Eleanor, rundumbfungames.com. You know, just hung out by myself, watching Will and Grace, which is a great show. By the way, I own the entire box set. You can call me whatever you want, but what you can't call me is a liar. So, thank you guys for listening to the Bill and Joe Show. We will be back next week. Joe will be here. This episode's coming out early, so we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Nobody can drag me down.